Here are the examples of researcher-completed instruments: rating scale, interview schedules, observation forms, tally sheets, flowcharts, performance checklists, anecdotal records, time and motion logs. What is a rating scale? A rating is a measured judgment of some sort. When we rate people, we make a judgment about their behavior or something they have produced. These are examples of product rating scale and behavior rating scale. The respondents were asked to circle the appropriate number using the following key: 5 excellent, 4 above average, 3 average, 2 below average, 1 poor. How about an interview schedules? Interview schedules and questionnaires are basically the same kind of instrument, a set of questions to be answered by the subjects of the study. This is an example of an interview schedule. Sets of questions to be answered by a respondent. Do you have any idea about observation forms? It is sometimes called an observation schedules, are fairly easy to construct. As you can see, the form requires the observer not only to record certain behaviors, but also to evaluate some as they occur. For instance, a school head will conduct a classroom observation. He or she may place a check mark each time the teacher asks individual students a question, asks questions to the class as a whole, and many more. He or she may also record the frequency of the behavior. Now, can you tell something about tally sheets? That's right! A tally sheet is a device often used by researchers to record the frequency of respondents' behaviors, activities, or remarks. So, this is an example of a tally sheet. What is all about the flowchart? A particular type of tally sheet is a flowchart. Flowcharts are particularly helpful in analyzing both number and direction of respondents' remarks to gain some idea of the quantity and focus. This is an example of a flowchart. A teacher may record the number of times his or her students interact to each other and whom they are interacted with. Now, can you share something about checklists? Great! One of the most frequently used of all measuring instruments is the checklist. It comprises several questions and requires a safe response format. This is an example of a checklist. The researcher, for example, may just check the behavior, performance, and the like that he or she may observe from the subject. How anecdotal records can be used to collect data. Another way of recording the behavior of individuals is the anecdotal record. It is just what its name implies, a record of observed behaviors written down in the form of anecdotes. There is no set format. Rather, observers are free to record any behavior they think it is important and need not focus on the same behavior for all subjects. This is an example of an anecdotal record. It could be evaluative, it could be generalized, or it could be specific or the type desired. Is it your first time to hear about time and motion logs? Okay, a time and motion study is the observation and detailed recording over a given period of time of the activities of one or more individuals. This is an example of a time and motion log. Listed is the specific time and specific activity of an individual. We've talked a lot on the researchers' completed instruments. Now, I have here the different examples of the subject-completed instruments. These are the subject-completed instruments. The questionnaires, self-checklists, attitude scales, personality character inventories, achievement aptitude tests, personality tests, projective devices, and sociometric devices. What is a questionnaire? A questionnaire is where the subjects respond to the questions by writing or more commonly by marking an answer sheet. This is an example of a questionnaire. Selection items include multiple choice, true or false, or matching type. Supply items include short answer or essay questions. The advantages of questionnaires are that they can be mailed or given to a large numbers of people at the same time. The disadvantages are that unclear or ambiguous questions cannot be clarified, and the respondent has no chance to expand or react verbally to a question. How about a self-checklist? A self-checklist is a list of several characteristics or activities presented to the subjects of a study. This is an example of a self-checklist. The individuals are asked to study the list and then to place a mark opposite to the characteristics they possess or the activities in which they have engaged for a particular length of time. Do you want to know about an attitude scale? An attitude scale consists of a set of statements to which an individual responds. The pattern of responses is then viewed as evidence of one or more underlying attitudes are often similar to rating scales in form, with words and numbers placed on a continuum. The subject or the respondent will circle the word or number that best represents how they feel about the topics included in the question or statement. Do you want to know about an achievement test? An achievement or ability tests measure an individual's knowledge or skill in a given area or subject. So, this is an example of an achievement test. Can we use an aptitude test to collect data? Of course, yes. An aptitude tests are intended to measure an individual's potential to achieve. In actuality, they measure present skills or abilities. So, this is an example of an aptitude test. How about a performance test? A performance test measures an individual's performance on a particular task. So, this is an example of a performance test. What is a projective device? A projective device is any sort of instrument with a vague stimulus that allows individuals to project their interests, preferences, anxieties, prejudices, needs, and so on through their responses to it. This is an example of a projective device. This kind of device has no right answers, and its format allows an individual to express something of his or her own personality. There is room for a wide variety of responses. What is a sociometric device? A sociometric device asks individuals to rate their peers in some way. Two examples include the sociogram and the group play. This is an example of a sociogram. And this is an example of a group play. In a nutshell, a data refers to the kinds of information researchers obtain on the subjects of their research. Examples of data are demographic profile, scores in a test, grades, anecdotal records, responses in an interview, and the like. Researchers collect data using an instrument, and the whole process of preparing to collect a data is called instrumentation. Researchers can get the information themselves directly from the subjects of the study or from others. The important questions to be considered in an instrumentation are the questions of what, who, when, and where. An instrument must be valid, reliable, and objective. An instrument may come from the previously existing instrument or an instrument developed by the researcher itself. Examples of data collection instruments are the subject-completed and researcher-completed instruments. Now it's your turn. You have to plan your data collection procedure by answering the problem sheet on instrumentation. You have to put your responses on the following statements. First, the research questions in my study are. Second, the type of instruments I plan to use are. Third, if I need to develop an instrument, here are 2 examples of questions I would ask. Your output on problem sheet on instrumentation will pass by your parents on a scheduled date and time. Once again, this is Teacher Kathleen May El Sabado. Until next time, my grade 12 students, take care of yourself and each other.